Okay, so let's go back to 2009. You probably remember when Dan Brown's novel, The Lost Symbol, hit the shelves. It was this absolute phenomenon. I mean, it sold over 1 million copies in the US, UK, and Canada in just its first couple of days. It shattered sales records, and everybody was just desperate to find out what this ancient secret was, this thing supposedly hidden right in the heart of Washington, D.C. But after this wild 500-page chase, the big reveal, for a lot of people, kind of fell flat. The great lost symbol, this knowledge that could supposedly change the world, turned out to be the Bible. As one critic, David Shugards, put it, it's a book that's been out for centuries, with millions of copies everywhere. So for many readers, it just felt like a huge anticlimax. And this is where things get really interesting. What if that whole anticlimax was on purpose? The theory we're digging into today suggests that Dan Brown actually found a much, much more shocking secret in his research. A secret so sinister that he decided to bury it, leaving us with a much safer, more digestible answer instead. So this whole theory kicks off with a clue that's hiding in plain sight. It's disguised as a simple error, a deliberate mistake that a famously careful researcher like Dan Brown would be very, very unlikely to make. Right at the climax of the book, the villain, Malach, is lying on the sacrificial altar inside the house at the temple. He's getting ready for his big transformation, and he's looking up at the skylight, which the book calls the sacred portal to the heavens. And he uses a very specific word for that skylight, repeating it over and over, the word oculus. It shows up 11 times. And that word really matters. See, in architecture, an oculus isn't just any old window. It is specifically a round, eye-like opening, like the famous one at the top of the Pantheon in Rome. The key thing here is it's a circle. But here's the thing. The actual skylight in the real house of the temple, it's not round at all. It's a perfect square made up of a 6x6 grid of glass panes. So was this just a rare slip-up by Dan Brown? The theory we're looking at says, nope, not a chance. It argues this mistake is actually a giant red flag, a pointer waving us toward one very specific number, 6. And that number 6 is the whole key, because it leads us straight into the world of magic squares, which, if you've read the book, you know are absolutely central to the entire plot. So throughout the story, Robert Langdon is using these magic squares to decode clues. He uses an order 4 square and an order 8 square, but the theory points out that something's conspicuously missing, the order 6 square. It even highlights a line from the book. The secret hides within the order. Count 'em. 6 words. This, the theory argues, is Brown's little breadcrumb, pointing us right to the missing piece of the puzzle, the Order 6 magic square. It's also known as the magic square of the sun. Now, the specific square in question is this one, right from a 16th century book of spells called De Occulta Philosophia. It's an old grimoire that Dan Brown actually mentions by name in the novel Tynel. And this particular square is so important because it has 2 signature numbers tied to it. The first one is what's called its magic constant. It's pretty simple. If you add up the numbers in any row or any column, you get the same exact number every single time, 111. And in Agrippa's original text, 111 is the number you use to summon an angel of the sun. But there's a second number. If you take that magic constant, 111, and you multiply it by the order of the square, which is 6, what do you get? 666. And according to that same ancient grimoire, that is the number used to summon the demon of the sun. So now we have these 2 numbers, right? 111 for an angel, 666 for a demon, both tied to a magic square that's secretly referenced in the book. This is where the theory claims they connect to the real world, specifically to the final location of the lost symbol, the Washington Monument. In the novel, Brown says it 4 different times. The Washington Monument is exactly 555 feet tall, and this type of number, with repeating digits, is called a rep digit. It's something that Freemasons were known to be, well, pretty fond of in their architecture for its symbolism. But the real kicker isn't the height, it's the base. The monument's square base was designed to be 55.5 feet long on each side. And if you convert that measurement to inches, well,
55.5 feet works out to be exactly 666 inches, the number of the beast encoded directly into the footprint of one of America's most famous structures.
And this is where it all comes together in this stunning final hypothesis. It's a theory that connects every single one of these clues, using a core Masonic idea that you hear over and over in the lost symbol. As above, so below. Here's the idea. We know the monument is 555 feet above the ground. But what if there's a hidden dimension below the ground? As above, so below, right? What if that monument is sitting on a foundation that goes exactly 111 feet deep, secretly encoding the angel's number from that magic square of the sun? It all fits perfectly. You take the 555 feet that we can all see, you add that theoretical 111-foot foundation hiding below ground, the angel's number. And what do you get when you put them together? You get a single, complete structure that, from its deepest point to its highest tip, is secretly, symbolically, 666 feet tall. So you're left with two totally different secrets. On the one hand, you have the official one Dan Brown gave us, the Holy Bible. It's powerful, sure, but it's a known, safe symbol. And on the other hand, you have the secret this theory claims Brown really found, but decided to bury, that the Washington Monument itself is a gigantic code for the number of the beast. So that's the question we're left with. Was that anticlimactic reveal of the Bible just a brilliant piece of misdirection? A way to cover up a much more disturbing truth hidden in plain sight? According to this theory, the real lost symbol isn't a book buried in a stone. It's the entire monument itself, silently pointing to a secret that might just change how you see that book and the heart of the American capital forever.